Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Back again. Rod is back. Tell a friend. Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Guess who's back? Hello, everybody. My name is RODGON. I'm an artist. I'm a designer. I'm a teacher. And today I get to be your art instructor. So, how about we learn to draw something cool today? How about we doodle and be happy? We're a little late today. My normal schedule is about 1 hour ahead of this. I've just been feeling really sick lately, and I haven't had the chance to be able to adjust that. So I just woke up late, and that is why we have a late stream today. So, what do you guys want to learn to draw today? I was thinking of just drawing really cute stuff, honestly. I just wanted to draw really cute stuff today. So how about we teach you guys how to draw cute stuff? So we'll make a whole video of just drawing cute stuff. So we will explain what makes something adorable, what makes something look so incredibly cute that we can't stand it. And what is the difference between that and making that cute thing look really creepy? Which isn't much of a difference, trust me. Making something look really cute, ta-da, and making something look a little creepy is not very far off from each other. Ta-da! So we'll talk about that today. No, I'm not taking lives. Don't waste my time. Okay? Rod, I got something important I found. Hey, Wes, how's it going, man? What did you find? Let us know. Dynamic chibis, we can totally do that. Chibis are really easy to draw. Chibis are just a sphere split into 4, and you divide that into your body parts, right? Your legs come down like little cones, and your upper body comes out like little cones. A sushi expansion. Ooh, we'll have to talk about that after the stream. So chibi bodies are really easy to draw. Chibi bodies are part of cute stuff. Chibi just means little, like, I don't know what chibi means really, but it's been used in like the anime community as characters that have really big heads and little tiny bodies. So when you learn that those little tiny bodies can just be divided into little hemispheres, you're able to play around with that concept really easy. Making your little character into whatever type of species or whatever type of character you want them to have is completely up to you. It doesn't even have to stay cute. The body itself is going to retain. And then when you start learning how to make some bigger, some smaller to create depth, then you end up getting very cool conceptual drawings with an understanding of why and how you're getting to those points. Because that's the important part. The important part is not just drawing the thing, it's understanding it. Once you learn to understand it, then it makes everything clicks. That's when you get those click moments. Those clicky moments come from understanding something that finally makes sense. And when you actually have something make sense, instead of just aiming to make it look pretty, then you can use that in your creativity together to be able to come up with whatever you want. Be it like a little superhero bunny or anything like that. So understanding just a simple sphere and how to divide it into 4 with another 2 circles, it gives you these quadrants. These quadrants each hold 1 circle each. That circle can be a little tiny arm, leg, or whatever, or it could be the initiation point of something along the lines of something more complex. The concept of how I teach chibi bodies is the whole general process is to understand how a body part connects to your actual body. And that comes in the form of two circles for your legs that point down at an angle, giving you access to not just a little chibi body, but an actual skeletal system in the form of a hip bone. So if you're able to draw this, it's the initial stages of understanding how your actual body works. Same thing happens with the upper body. With the upper body, you can use the little chibi ones and just take these little corners and leave a space for your head. So you end up with 3 circles, which happens in the bottom too because you need to leave a space for your goodies. But at first, you don't have to consider that for the bottom, right? Eventually, you'll get to the Ninja Turtle. Once you get to the Ninja Turtle, the body itself is really easy. So once you can draw this, when you can draw a little turtle, now you are going to have access to drawing both your arms and your legs separate. So you start dividing it into 2 sections, your upper body and your lower body. This middle space that you choose is going to be your torso, and it's just going to connect to the sides. From there, you have your space for your head, which becomes a cylinder, and it gives you access to your head and your jaw and everything in all those cool angles. Then you have access to your arms that come out from here. And then you have access to your legs. So understanding one way of seeing it can simplify everything else once you understand the connecting points. And that to me is the most important part that I've learned over the last year. Those connecting points are what allow us to use our sushis, for example. Sushis are just little circles with 2 outside edges, and then you draw your volume inside. And you end up in a situation where you can draw bodies from the back, from the front, really easy. You can bend them, you can twist them, you can do whatever you want. Okay? It becomes an easy way to gesture something. So once you understand the connecting points for your legs, well, now all you need to do is find those 2 little circles and anything. I'm going to give you guys an example. Let's draw something like an animal, right? An animal is going to have hip bones as well. So they just tend to bend a little bit different. Once you understand that those hip bone circles are where your actual body parts come from, it makes drawing things through your shapes a little bit easier. When you understand that most animal anatomy is still mammal anatomy, you end up understanding that all these concepts can apply to most things with a hip bone, a rib cage, and when we get to the actual facial features, you can apply the triangle method to many, 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 many ways. So it's not just for humans. This can also be applied to anything like animals. You just have to learn to apply the other elements that make them animals. The tails, the stripes, the fur, the way the leggies work, the way they bend. That is all stuff that you need to realize comes with just observation, honestly. But other than that, you're going to be able to draw a structure of a human really quickly. And this is gestury, right? And then an animal very gesturally. Because it's the same concept. It's just finding the outside edges and then going bloop. So let's see. What else do I need to explain here? Let me give you guys some examples, I guess. Let's just draw some cute heads. What animal? I'll give you guys a chance to name animals right now. Just name little different animals or creatures or whatever, and I'll draw really cute bodies and show you guys how that works. So just start naming stuff. A coyote. Okay, so I don't know what a coyote looks like. Like a fox? I already drew a bunny. So let's do a cat. Okay. So let's draw just a cute little cat. Okay, so we have a nice little kitty, and he's gonna have a little expression. So now if I wanted to draw a little body for him, I just have to draw a circle underneath this. The circle has to be overlapping it a little bit so that it's not looking like it's just buried in there or floating. It needs to be overlapped a little bit so that you have a surface to connect to the actual head. Think about like marshmallows on a stick. Okay? If you think of marshmallows and you stack them on a stick, this is kind of the concept that happens whenever you're laying things over. Marshmallows are little cylinders, right? Which means there are just two circles connected at the edges. Now, understanding how that cylinder works in space is just about learning how to overlap these two lines and getting depth. This also teaches you, if you start learning how to contrast things, it's going to teach you how to use perspective. And when you start adding other elements, it's going to teach you how to overlap your elements to create more depth. So this object is overlapping this one because they're still connected. It's still a body part. It's not like a floating head, like a mannequin, like a doll. It's still there, so it's going to have a little bit of a shadow, and it's going to have these little four quadrants. Boom, 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 boom. Boom, 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 boom. From there, the little legs would come out from those little circles in whatever direction I need them to be. The tail would probably be around this shape. If I draw a circle inside any shape, it gives me the front, the back, the left, and the right. Okay, so if I draw a circle inside of an object, I have all the quadrants really quickly. If this is my belly button and my tail's in the back, I'm going to draw a circle in the back, and I'm going to follow that to whatever tail I want. You can do that by choosing one of the sides of the little circle and then drawing it and then connecting it back to the other one, which is relatively simple. And you can do that to find tails. It's actually quite simple. Circle, draw a circle inside. I can name that my belly button. And then directly behind it, that would be where my tail would be, the back of my spine. Draw a circle and then choose any of the edges. I'm going to choose this one. I'm going to draw the outside edge. And it's going to connect back to the other one. I can add little stripes, things like that, and then use those same quadrants to be able to draw the leggies for my character and my arms for my character. Learning how to draw through your shapes is one of the most crucial elements to learn if you want to get better at drawing in general. Exercises like drawing a circle with a circle inside give you elements of depth in the form of dimension. So from here, if this is the front and I split it in half and I go to the back, this is directly the front, this is directly the back. Cool. I can do top, north, and even left and right if I really wanted to. Understanding your shapes to this extent, you don't have to be an engineer or a draftsman or anything like that, but it does help to be able to understand that a simple exercise like this can give you a lot of different results. This is giving you a ton of different ways of seeing things. It's this element right here. It's the other side of an actual orange, so you could draw something getting sliced. That's one way of seeing it. This can also give you guidelines, so you can draw your face shapes in any direction. So those guidelines are very important if you want to learn how to draw front, back, left, right, different directions. So those circles give you that guidance. This also gives you the ability to be able to pinpoint specific spots and find the direct opposite of them. This is going to be helpful for you finding your ears so that you can find your jaw, so that you can be able to draw your elements, drawing, and people doing cool poses that aren't restricted by just the limitations of what you know how to draw. So, understanding all those things help you. These things are learned through basic exercises like circles. Now, you can make these fun for you, or you can make these really boring. That is going to be completely up to you. I used to like doing this. I used to like drawing eyeballs and then drawing my features and making a little Cyclops dude. That way I could practice my eyes and I could practice a little bit of my posing really, really quickly. This is a sphere. That is the representation of an eyeball. So wherever I pinpoint that, it's going to give me that. So I could do that. The space in between could be a face. So now I have the ability to make a little character really quickly that's going to try to teach me everything that I need for a character really, really quickly. Yay! All those little features kind of look like a turtle too, like we talked about earlier. So once you get to this, it's just a matter of now separating elements. Learning how to draw a circle with 2 circles inside is not very hard. Drawing a circle with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 circles inside becomes a little bit more difficult. But once you understand that, you have your mapping points for your body parts. And all you need is the separation in between, to stretch them out to make something look more like a human. So you can do it 2 different ways. You can just make an oval and keep those elements towards the edges. So make it longer so you have more space in the middle, giving you access to all the goodies again. And giving you now access to more sections that you can use to be able to draw out your anatomy or details of your style. Sorry guys, I'm sick. Like my ear started plugging up yesterday and I hope it's not COVID. I hope it's not COVID. That's what I get for going out in public. Anyways, once you have this, you can move on to something like this. And then when you start applying actual anatomy, you'll realize that the whole body structure can be broken down into 2 shapes. Into an egg, and that gives you a little sushi. Right? And a circle and an egg. And these 2 shapes are going to consistently be the keystones to your drawings. Let me explain why. And let me show you guys how, by the way, just so you guys don't question things too much. Once you understand a couple of the points that I've explained, everything else starts falling into place really nicely because it's like a puzzle. It's kind of like a Sudoku puzzle. I've always thought of the body parts like a Sudoku puzzle. If you manage to find your elements from 1 to Z, A to Z, and you see everything like a puzzle piece, you're going to start realizing the simplicity comes from understanding a tiny bit of your contour lines. So where your legs and stuff like that, the edges are, the arm, the edge, not the middle of it. This is not like a stick figure to identify the middle of your arm. This is the outside edge of your arm. If you identify the outside edge of your arm, what you need to then realize is this, you just need to connect it back to the body. So you got to give it a little bit of depth. So if you have the outside edge of your arm and you want to bring volume back into your body, you end up in a situation where things just have depth. Outside edge, inside volume. And you can use that very effectively when you're gesturing with even just a simple sphere. When you're drawing with a simple sphere, if you just take those two elements in consideration, outside edge, inside volume. Outside edge, inside volume. Outside edge, inside volume. Outside edge, inside volume. And the volume will always go towards the body. Why does that work? I have no idea. I don't know why it works, and it makes things look better, but outside edge, and then I find the volume for my leg, so the thickness of my leg. Outside edge, inside volume. And it just looks good. It just tends to look at outside edge of your arm, inside volume. Outside edge, inside volume. And it just looks nice. So, I don't know. It's one of those things that it clicked for me recently, but I need to learn why that is a little bit more so I can explain it better. But just understanding that if your stick figures change to this, it would be really easy to draw yourself a body. It would be really easy. You just have to learn to see the stick figure different. And not many people can say they reinvented the stick figure to make it work for others. So, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like, I draw better stick figures than most. Because I understand them. So let's just draw more of them. I'll show you guys how that works easily. So, let's just draw a bunch of little characters. Fuck it. And let's just fill up the page with little characters. Outside edges of my legs, inside. Let's draw a head. And then we'll draw the inside elements of our character. So that was easy. Yay. And give them some anatomy. And just to demonstrate that you can use this for a more detailed drawing. Like, it doesn't have to be complex. Like, what we learn does not have to always be super hard, like, for us. It doesn't. We just have to learn to see things properly. A lot of the times, it's just learning to visualize things a little bit different that teaches you what you're missing. I am no savant. I just have more time than most to be able to do this. Okay? I have never been a mega, like amazing artist on my own. I've had to learn a lot for myself. So as you guys progress this, rest assured that I was a horrible artist when I was like younger and I didn't know what I was doing. And it wasn't until I was able to put creativity and a little bit of knowledge together that things started to click for me, and I started becoming a little bit more of the artist that I wanted to be. So, understanding how the body can be simply drawn by that is really fun. Do, 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 do. Simple body shapes can come from different shapes that you draw. If you draw the shape a little taller, you get a different look. If you draw the shape squarer, you're going to get a different look. And then later on, when you start learning a little bit more of anatomy, you'll be able to separate the two elements and be able to play even more with design styles. Once you learn anatomy, you'll realize that all these elements separate into just two really big groups: your hip bones and your rib cage. And if you learn how to draw those really good, you'll never have an issue with posing again. An issue with posing. Let's say circle, egg, circle. Outside edges of my legs into inside volume of my legs. I have to teach you guys the compass and teach you guys how to work from your spine, so you guys know how to draw your actual necks and heads better without struggling so much. That's one of the biggest parts of what I teach that I think helps people out. It's understanding that you have to learn to unlearn a little bit of the things that you got taught, right? You have to learn that maybe what you got taught is not beneficial for you. And the way you're trying to force yourself to do things is not always the same. How do you start to learn anatomy? You observe people. You can go observe people, just go look at human beings instead of drawing them from drawings. Drawing from human actual lives will teach you a lot of things. Drawing from life teaches you that body parts aren't always as big and dynamic as we make them out to be most of the time. A lot of the dents in little tiny things that happen, like curvatures of the faces and the angles and stuff like that, those tend to come from the actual structures underneath, like your bones and your muscles. And you learn through just pure observation the different kinds of people that exist. If you don't go out and observe people with 10,000 different types of noses, how are you expected to understand how to draw several ethnicities, several age groups? You know what I mean? As much as we want to be artists, a lot of the times we are lazy as fuck in the fact that we don't want to actually take the time that it takes to be able to get to what we need to achieve. And that is just something that happens with all of us. A lot of us would rather go party or something like that than study how to draw a face over and over until it clicks. I didn't do that. To me, it was all about just getting to that goal. My life's purpose is tied with what I have associated myself with art. Now, if I'm not focusing as hard as I need to accomplish that, I will never get there. If I didn't take the time to start making my own ideas, my own lessons, my own ways of seeing things, I never would have gotten to where I am now. I didn't understand a lot of the lessons that people taught. And I always found that art instruction was really repetitive and very, very dry. So I sought out to be that person to be able to explain things to people because I just happen to have a little bit more better communication skills than other people. slightly better ways of being able to communicate ideas. So when I realized that, the normal like approach was like, haha, let's teach people how to use this for art. Finger up in the air. Have you guys ever seen that Udemy like ad? There's a Udemy ad, like an art school ad, right? And this is what they do with the mustache. They had a dude with a mustache, right? Just a dude with a mustache. And then he has a smile beyond the mustache. And that's not what happens. That's not what happens with mustaches. So they're like, literally, they're like applying, like, they're telling you, sign up for this art school. And then they're giving you like garbage artwork to like, art schools are so bad. I hope no one pays for art school. And I hope that my channel, and it's like 500 videos or whatever I have now, right? And my 500 or so lessons that I have uploaded, I hope that that's helped at least one person not have to go to art school. If only one person doesn't go to art school because of it, then it's all worth it. It's all worth it. Eventually I'll die, and eventually that knowledge will be kind of lost. And that'll be up to the people that learn from me to be able to carry that on, right? Like to carry on the teachings of the weird dude on the internet that just wanted to help other people. So I hope that these lessons help you understand that these are just little tiny milestones in your career, right? Understanding how these elements work with each other, how you can build bodies from any shape, size, or like form, and not be constricted to like the same shit that we normally think we have to, right? Like, oh, it doesn't look like the Marvel way. It doesn't look like this. It doesn't look like that. Nah, it doesn't matter, man. Like honestly, like that's where like everybody has like a little bit of like leeway. Like once you understand the basic concept of just basic perspective in the form of what I talked to you guys about, like being able to see through your shape and being able to connect circles in different ways. Like for cylinders, you connect circles, right? And just connect circles and you make cylinders. If you want to make them bigger and make them foreshortened, just make one bigger, connect the edges, see what happens, make it bigger, overlap it, see what happens. Eventually, you'll realize you're drawing foreshortening. Ooh, cool. Right? Bigger, smaller foreshortening, connecting the edges, depth. Be able to draw circles inside of any shape gives you volume, gives you a front, a back, a left, a right, depth, angles, mapping points, all that stuff. And that's all the stuff that you need to be able to draw things like faces and different angles. Okay? So all that knowledge comes into play in a way that you guys might not realize unless you guys actually see it applied. And that's also why I draw live. Even if the drawings aren't the most amazing, it's me literally giving you like the visualization that I never got. The visualization aspect of seeing someone else do it was the world to me. Like once I saw somebody draw caricatures for like an hour, I was able to kind of replicate it. And then I was like, oh man, I suck at it, but yes, I can do it. Oh, the cylinder's ambiguous. That's why I like it. The cylinder, if you draw a cylinder, you can't really tell if you draw the circles right, not like me. You can draw this in both directions. But what I like about drawing the head and the cylinder is that you can already have the jaw. You already have a circle that goes around. All you have to do is determine where it goes up. And now you have yourself, your neck, and your jaw in like one swoop. So when you're drawing something a lot cooler, I wouldn't draw it so deeply. I would draw my guidelines. I can change the angle of any of these circles to give it a lightly stylized look. And that's gonna give me my jaw that goes around, gives me my neck in the back. And all I have to really do is draw a little bit of area for my actual nose. But if I do that, I have access to my drawing really, really quickly. And I don't have to worry so much about how the jaw works anymore. Cylinder with a couple lines. Choose which one of these wants to be my jawline. I'll make it this one. Boom. And then if you want to add a little bit more space in the back for your brain bucket, you can do that. But that's it. You have your neck. You just taper it a little bit, I guess. And the connecting to your body is an egg with a circle at the top, which gives you the perfect connection to your body. A compass gives you access to your shoulders and the edge points of your shoulders. From here, this is the outside edge of my arm to the inside volume. Outside edge, inside volume. Outside edge, inside volume. Breasts, if it's a girl, it's a heart coming from either the back or the front of your collarbone. If you have really perky boobs, it goes from the front and you draw a little heart in the front. And it gives you nice perky boobs. If you want to draw slightly more normal boobs, it's a heart from the back. And it gives you slightly less perky boobs. So doing that is the way to draw the boobies. Really easy. A circle, compass, heart from the back. When you're looking up, that little heart is going to keep its consistency. Yeah, it always just connects back to your... Try and rotate it around. So yeah, the little heart gives you a nice little semblance of them. But the breasts in themselves are two different elements that sit on top of your chest and they connect back to your armpits. That's going to be like the other element of it. I struggle with nipples. Okay, so you probably struggle with the nips because you are drawing things weird. Let's draw male and female breasts. Okay, when it comes down to a male breast, it normally attaches to the sternum and you have your muscle tissue that pulls out. You have your collarbone that's here and your shoulders that kind of cut across them, giving you a semblance of overlapping, and your nipples would be around there, regardless of either very areoly or not areoly. They would sit towards the bottom part of your breast, right? And if you have not that much musculature, all that tissue isn't normally there, so you still have your nips. You maybe not have as much definition there, but you still have, it's essentially two little circles, dude. Like, it's not very difficult. Then when it comes down to female breasts, you have to consider that they're more round sometimes. These are very, very round, and they're not necessarily real. This is kind of like a Marvel superhero boobie, okay? And from there, you would just follow the mid guideline and draw yourself the areolas. Now, when you're drawing something like that, you got to consider the breasts will go in and then go towards the outside edge of that compass. It's going to go in to the heart, and then it's going to go out to the compass, giving you that little triangular shoulder muscle right here that's going to help you be able to get deeper level of detail there. But just try to match the midline and try to go around it like a circle so that you can get a nice round shape to your breasts. How do you draw the length of your torso? The length of your torso depends on the character. You can have a character that has a really normal torso. Let's say we divide it into 3. Any shape that we can divide into 3 could have your upper body, your mid-level, and then your hip bones. Okay, so let's divide it like that. So if we have a character that has an upper body, a mid body, and a lower body, we can start playing with proportions. So if this is a normal average character, let's say we change that upper part to a little bit bigger, we change this middle part to a little bit smaller, and we make the hip bones even smaller. So our 1, 2, 3 sections would be a little bit different, giving us a different kind of character. The spacing is bigger, so now you need a bigger element to fit that. Keeping on the same height will help us understand. Let's see, keeping roughly the same size. Let's move on to somebody that's really short. Maybe the legs become less important. Maybe the midsection becomes really big. And the upper body gets really small. So it just looks like a little squishy thing right there. Getting all the way out to the same proportions, you would have a character that looks considerably smaller. But all of them look like they could actually work. It just depends on what you need the character for. And so that is going to be the biggest thing that you probably learned today, is that proportions are relevant only when it's a certain styling that you need to meet. Other than that, proportions are kind of just freely-neely for depending on whatever styling you want. You know, you can make a person with really big hands if what you need is a character with really big hands. You can draw a person with really big feet if what your story calls for is some person with really big feet. Same thing with ears, eyes, nose, mouths, all that stuff, right? It all is dependent on what you want to create with it. But the way that we get to that understanding is through knowing the things that are in our body. And that's why we learn anatomy, and that's why we study a perspective, and that's why we study basic shapes and composition and a bunch of other things. No one ever said art was easy. And I will always remind you guys of that. No one said art was easy. No one did. If they said that to you, they lied. I have seen more people fail in the careers of art than I have seen fail in careers for law. People just don't always have what it takes to be able to get behind what is needed to be able to achieve the greatness that they want to do. And that is very unfortunate sometimes, because you see a lot of driven people not get taught right, and then they end up quitting because of not understanding something or thinking that they're at the bottom of the barrel when all they did just didn't have instruction, right? So, well, I don't know where I was going with that, but anyways. Is there a trick for front nose? Yeah. Okay, the nose is a triangle, right? In the triangle, if you draw a dot, you can draw a pyramid and then give yourself a nose. So drawing a nose is not hard. Drawing a nose is very simple. Understanding that that shape is coming towards you is the biggest factor in understanding how to draw a nose from the front. Just drawing that triangle and the dot in different heights can give you access to drawing that nose in different positions. So drawing it from the front is probably the easiest. Drawing a nose from the front is the easiest ways because you don't have to really consider depth. It's all already within that little triangle that you draw. And the way that you would apply that to the actual face would be like this. Because I haven't drawn the face today, I think. Triangle, dot, pyramid, following the guidelines of the triangle. And very quickly, you come up with a jaw structure. Look at that, like 2 seconds. And that is why I teach what I teach, because I'm good at what I do. And I also know how to explain it. So hopefully today's lesson wasn't too gross because I was like snorting and sneezing and stuff. But I'm glad that I got on here. I'm glad that I was able to teach you guys some stuff. And I'm hoping that some of you guys can retain some of this information so that you guys can actually apply it to your own drawings. I hope that I helped you guys level up in some way or another because that is the goal. Eventually, that is the goal. The goal is to make you guys not need me anymore. Like, that is the ultimate goal. If I can make it so I could be such a good teacher that you guys don't require my assistance anymore, I have succeeded as a teacher. So that is my goal. I hope that you guys have a lovely, lovely, I think it's Wednesday. Kick some butt today. Start your projects because, you know, if no one's going to start them but you, right? Like, no one is going to start that if you don't. So start, get it done, get out of the way, get version 1 done, and then you can always start working on version 2 the moment that you start working on version 1. Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you for being the best part of my week. Thank you for being my followers and my friends and everything in between. I don't say it enough, and I don't think anybody really takes the time to appreciate their followers. So I do like to do that from time to time. Without you guys, I would be nothing. And it's hopefully this whole TikTok ban doesn't happen because otherwise I lose out on a lot of people. But let's hope that's not the case. Okay? Take care, everybody. You guys are awesome. See you guys later.